We also have written testimony from George Nee in support from Rhode Island AFL-CIO. And we also have written testimony from Access Financial, Stephen Alves. I know he was here, but we do have written testimony, I believe, in opposition. Bill Murphy, he just left. He has also left us written testimony from Purpose Financial in opposition. And that brings us to, I think it's Margot Morrison.
From the great city of Woonsocket.
Welcome, Margot, from the Rhode Island Coalition to End Homelessness, speaking in support of the bill.
Yes, thank you so much, Chairwoman, and thank you to the committee for having me here today. So I wanted to go back to how I got involved with this. In 2009, I was working at a community development corporation in the neighborhood that I grew up in Woonsocket, the neighborhood that my family is from. And as part of my job there, I was a director of community engagement, and I was one of my programs that I oversaw was resident services and eviction prevention. And we started to see an alarming trend where residents of the neighborhood who had been there forever, who I knew had great working jobs, really amazing families, started to be on the list of evictions. And they were about to lose their homes, and they couldn't pay any of their bills because they were caught in payday loans. And what had happened was Advance America had opened up a store right in the middle of two low-income working-class neighborhoods, and were very predatory to the community members living in those neighborhoods. Very aggressive marketing tactics. And people thought that, hey, this sounds pretty good. They make it sound like this is an easy loan. I can get this quick, I can buy a couple extra presents for Christmas, and everything will be fine. But then they couldn't pay it off, because one of the things that they don't tell you is that it's not actually a 2-week loan, it's a 13-day loan. Most people in the state of Rhode Island get paid every 2 weeks, every 14 days. So it's automatically built so that you have to take out another loan to pay off that loan, to pay off that loan. And the treasurer is completely right that 75% of people who take out a payday loan take out 10 or more in 1 year. But the average person, like the average payday loan borrower, rolls it over 6 times. So we're not just talking about a 2-week loan here. These loans, I've talked to some people who were caught in them for 3 years before they could figure out how to pay them off. So I want to go back to in 2009 when I found out about this problem. I approached my uncle over a family dinner, who was then a State Representative Frank Ferri, and I let him know about this issue. And I said, "Can you believe this is legal? This should be fixed." And he said, "Yeah, that should be an easy fix. Let me look into it." So Ledge Council saw that there was this carve-out that had happened that allowed these stores to open up faster than fast food stores across Rhode Island, and put in legislation removing the carve-out that they received. And that year, 2010, the bill made it out of committee and was on the floor for a floor vote in the House. We were all excited that something good was happening in the state of Rhode Island, and that thousands of people, low-income working families, would save dollars in their pockets. That bill was up for the floor vote and disappeared off of the roster into thin air. We had no idea where it went. And it was because one very powerful lobbyist made one call to the Speaker of the House and got that bill removed. So it was never got the proper vote that it should have from members of the General Assembly. So during all this time, we now have been working on this for 12 whole years. During this time, the lobbyists have gotten a lot richer, and they've made a lot of backroom deals, and low-income families in Rhode Island are using millions of dollars each year to these predators. And it's really time for this practice to stop. We've studied it, we've talked about it, we come here year after year. We have a coalition of organizations across the state that want to see this stopped. We don't make any money on it. We're doing this because we see how much it hurts people in Rhode Island. So we say the lenders would be welcome to stay in our state if they adhere to a 36% rate cap. A predatory business model may not work under that cap, but a responsible lending one does. And we have plenty of lenders in Rhode Island that are doing fast turnaround payday loan type loans. We have credit unions that have stepped up to the plate to offer these. Greenwood Credit Union, Navigate Credit Union. We have commercial banks now that are doing this, but we also have a really great nonprofit lender, Capital Good Fund, that will turn around a payday loan to a customer really fast. But what they do is they make sure that that person or the family taking out the payday loan has the means to pay it back, and that's for a reasonable expense. And that is really, again, as the treasurer had mentioned, the guardrails, making sure that people aren't getting themselves into trouble that is not worthwhile. So one of the things I wanted to go into a little bit too is about the independent studies. So Mr. Stademan talked about some studies, and they're all from industry paid commissions, and they have a lot of money to spend on things like that. But independent studies, Pew reports, Insight have shown that there's a significant economic gain when payday loan stores go away. So in the states that did allow payday loans and then the payday lending was taken away, the states saw an economic impact that was beneficial. People who had borrowed find much safer resources for meeting financial needs and are relieved when payday lenders are gone. We should remember that Senator Reid passed the Military Lending Act that banned payday loans for members of the military. And that was all because they saw payday loans as a national security threat. It is definitely time, after 12 years, that we extend that same protection to every member in our community. Furthermore, after 12 years of talking about this and holding this bill and studying this bill, we really believe that it's time for a floor vote. Legislators that have been here in the past have talked about it, have asked questions. I'm happy to see new faces around the table. I'm hopeful this year. I feel like we are at a point now where we understand, after the pandemic, the financial crisis in our state and how it's affected people. And there really is no better time to let this bill go for a floor vote. As we've already talked about, there are alternative products, and we are one of the only states in the Northeast that allows this predatory practice. I also wanted to address very quickly just some of the false claims that were made a little bit earlier. That talking about how this payday loan is tied to your bank account. It makes it sound so simple, right? We're just going to take this money out of the bank account. If they don't show up to pay it on the 13th day, we will just withdraw those funds. Well, what happens is the payday loan companies will deposit that post-dated check up to 3 times a day, so that the person gets bounce check fees 3 times a day for multiple days until they hear back to come in and pay the loan off. The payday loan company, as they mentioned, they call your employer when they give you the loan. They will call your employer when you don't pay the loan as well. They will call your landlord. They will leave stickers on your door. They will bang on your door. They will harass you. So this predatory practice really goes beyond just the loan. They have a predatory practice for trying to recoup on their loans as well. One of the things that they talked about is that you have to have a job to get one of these loans. It's not true. You have to have a source of income. So they don't care if you're on disability. They don't care if you have retirement. If you're just on retirement, they don't care what your source of income is. As long as they see money coming into your bank account, they'll give you this loan. There is no income test, and you do not have to have a job. So I think that kind of covers some of it. Some of the other stuff I've already gone over, but I'm happy to take any questions.